Hi guys, welcome to the Wild Boar. Here today with me is Bubba
Hey,
and Ben.
Hey.
So let's launch straight into what has been probably the most discussed thing this week, which is the Destiny beta. What did you guys think? Ben, take me through it.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I think I can't remember how many hours I played. Probably sort of, I don't know, 8 or 10 hours over the course of the weekend. Got to the level cap, and yeah, just couldn't get enough of it really. I didn't play too much of the Crucible, the player versus player stuff. I kept mostly kind of single player co-op, that kind of thing. What about you guys?
Well, I played it quite a lot at the weekend. I don't know, probably I'd say a similar amount of hours, and yeah, I got to the level 8 cap for one of my characters anyway. And yeah, just
Were they both
taking it.
hunters?
always hunters. But I found it very much different from the alpha in the terms of, firstly, the missions felt self. What's the word? The missions felt self-contained, and I quite like that. Like you did your mission, and then it was like took you back, and then you could go and look at the other missions. Whereas in the alpha, it was like here's one mission, and then you cross the map, and you can go on and do another mission, and all this. And also this time around, there were more people in the game.
Yeah.
And for me, playing the alpha, I just found it boring, and I didn't really like it at all, as people might remember from last time I was talking about it. But it really does add. It's a lot better, basically, when there are X many people playing with you during the game. I mean, as well, just walking around I'm going to keep calling it the Citadel. I can't remember what it's called.
Tower.
But,
The tower.
Tower, that was it. Walking around that and seeing all the people kind of around and doing all the stupid stuff like waving and all this. It was. I was like, okay, this feels a bit more alive now, whereas it felt very isolated before.
Yeah, that's a very MMO thing, that kind of central social hub where you've got people running around, and I think that's probably the reason for the inclusion of dancing and pointing and sitting, which when I saw a couple of weeks ago that they'd added that, I was a bit confused as to what the hell was going on, but then it kind of makes sense in that that's the kind of thing that people do in that social area to get people's attention and just to sort of fart around, really.
Yeah, I mean, also there was like a big mission which me and two others. I mean, what was pretty cool is that, yeah, these two other random people I joined right at the beginning of this level, and we did it all, completed it and everything, and we were all like just kind of dancing around at the end, which sounds really horrifically geeky and stupid. But there was a sense of like, that's really cool. These two guys who I've no idea who they are. We didn't talk to each other or anything like that, but we're like, when one died, we were saving them and all this stuff and flanking them, and we didn't have to say anything anyway. It was all just kind of, instinctual.
Yeah, we had a similar thing, because I think what you're talking about was the strike, the level 6 strike, which was the one where you end up fighting that giant eyeball with lasers.
I think. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was that.
Sepkis Prime or something. And that I did that with a friend, and yeah, we were matched up with a third person who we'd never met before. And at the time, we were kind of level 5 or 6, and he was 8 or something. And he pretty much saved us probably 30 or 40 times. We died over the course of that mission, just getting rinsed, and that was something that really stood out, is that they weren't afraid to put these really kind of hard levels in there, and that's quite interesting in that in a lot of MMOs, but not necessarily in FPSs. You can stray off the beaten path and come up against enemies that are way above your pay grade, and will just whip your ass and send you back to the safety of further out in the map. And that can happen a lot. You can run into trouble if you're not in the right place. And it was quite cool that he was there to kind of hold our hands in a rather pathetic way, but it was good fun.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was I did a lot of the player versus player stuff as well, which was a bit annoying because I think I was talking to you about this earlier, Ben, is that the people who do those like slams, you like jump from high and there's this like purple like
it must be the Titans.
Yeah, it was just so annoying because you couldn't really, like, even if you saw it kind of coming, even if you were jumping and trying to sprint away, you couldn't get away from it, and it's like you're dead. And I was like, oh, that's just the most annoying thing. It was infuriating. But
that's the bonus of the alpha and the beta, is that you know, if one special move or one class is identifying itself as the most popular and easy way to win, that they're going to nerf it and try and balance the three of them, or the three classes, or a special power or something like that. Because apparently there was one weapon in the alpha that was far and away the most sort of effective and efficient gun by a mile, and they've saw to that by the time the beta came around. That was back to being just another choice.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that worries me about the player versus player thing is that I went in as soon as it was like open, which I think was like level 5 or 6 or whatever. I went in, and just that difference between the level 5 and level 8, leveling up your guns and armor and stuff like that made a considerable difference. When I came back into it at level 8, I was like, man, I'm like owning this a bit now, like compared to how it was, how I was only just a couple of levels back. And yeah, I mean, I was saying to Bubba beforehand, I mean, it just feels, at the moment, it feels very empty, and I don't think Peter Dinklage as the little voice thing, just sounds.
Why did you say little?
Whoops. Yeah. God, I'm not going to be able to get away from that. As the Cortina like character.
Cortana.
Oh, right. Cortana, actually.
Well, one is a 70s, average saloon car, and the other one was a character of a.
Well, maybe I meant that.
Yeah.
Or a band from Manchester.
Yeah, I meant that as well. But his vocal performance was just flat. I was just like, he just sounds like he's just walked in and gone. Yeah, you need to.
I've heard people say this, but isn't it to do with the fact that he is an AI, or
But why does that matter?
An AI, he's just a computer program. He's supposed to be kind of flat and robotic, isn't he?
You know what I mean? Get a Stephen Hawking's automatic voice. What's the point of having an actor in it? It's like he's literally gone so. I can imagine putting on his glasses, like, what's this character? Well, I don't know. Even though he talks in an English accent in it, he's actually American, I believe. And they're like, oh, it's an AI thing that kind of goes around and tells them what mission's next. Right, so flat as possible. Yes, I'm a computer. Well, no, you can give it some. No, it's going to be flat. Here we go. I started reading it out. I was just like, man, he just sounds. Even when it's like, there's danger up ahead. It's like, okay, thanks. How? I didn't really think much of it. And it's. I was saying to Bubba earlier, it's the. I just felt like when I was walking around the tower / Citadel. It just kind of reminded me how much I love Mass Effect, and I was like, man, I don't know how Destiny, just playing it, it's like, okay, great, and then it's like multiplayer, but I was just like, I just feel like I'm playing Halo or something. I don't really, it's not going to be, I don't know, it just feels very superficial, and I just don't feel there's a depth of characters or races. It doesn't really feel like I'm living in this like world that
Yeah, I mean, it's a beta though, isn't it? So you're not, you haven't got the backstory. You haven't played the missions to know, why the humans are in this state, to know who the blue avatar people are, or to know, where these, legion of robots came from, or anything about any of the enemies. So you are kind of dropped in, and they're not going to spoil a lot of the story for you before they, release the game properly. They've always been a very kind of secretive developer, and they do play their cards close to their chest. So, I mean, as far as the beta goes in terms of hyping people up and using Activision's marketing budget to get people playing, I mean, there were something like 4.6 million people playing the beta over the weekend, which is ridiculous. They're going to use that, but not give you too much of, what's actually going on. So you'd expect to see, cutscenes and, story development going on along with, what you've been playing.
Well, let's hope so, because at the moment it just feels like an A to B thing with a boss at the end. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't. I'm still holding judgment.
What did you think of like the different styles of play? Babbitt, did you play it at all?
I played a little bit. I didn't play too much. First thing I'd say is fuck you, EA. And the second thing I'd like to say is I did play it for a little bit, and I did think it was. I thought it was decent. Thought it was a good game. Only thing that I was slightly concerned about is when you've got past the level cap, what the fuck else is there going to be to do? You know,
So
it seems very like it seems empty, as Sam says. It does seem quite empty. Is it a game that you're just going to keep grinding for the sake of grinding?
but there is gonna be an element of replaying some missions with different characters or with at a higher level, and I think
Oh, great.
well, no,
That is fantastic.
that's if you wanna. That's not if you that's only if you wanna kind of carry on with your character and do everything there is in the game. I mean, I think the average level or something read somewhere that you're going to be when you finish the story campaign is around kind of 18 to 20 or something, and then but it goes up.
I've just reached the 8 already.
Yeah, but it's not a like a straight scale. It'll be a log scale, and it will get progressively harder to level up as you go on.
That does seem a bit slim though. Still, it's like 20. You imagine they're thinking this game's meant to last like.
That's just doing story missions, not the strikes, not the patrolling, not the raids, and not the PvP. And you get the same character for all of those different types of games, don't you?
Yeah, but still, 18.
But the interesting thing was that they just released some information about the strikes and the raids. So you did one of the strikes, which was that the one with the eyeball, the long one where you have to have 3 people with you, otherwise you're just going to get crushed.
Yeah.
But strikes are kind of an end game thing. So once you've beaten the main story and you're at a kind of over 20 level, then you can engage in these 6-player similar kind of missions where you have to have friends with you, and they get progressively harder and level up beyond where you are, to provide you a bit more challenge. So that
was it just me, or did the enemies just seem slightly uninterested as well? Like disinterested, sorry. They just seem slightly, I don't know, like unimaginative. They just hopped from side. I don't know, they just didn't seem like there was much going on in their mind. Like the AI seemed pretty crap.
I don't know about that. I had some people creeping up on me and that kind of thing. They were trying.
It was just Halo enemies,
that kind of thing. You what?
They seem like typical Halo enemies, but I don't know. It just seemed a bit flat. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical, but maybe EA has really pissed me off this week. But I don't know. It just
maybe
seemed
you're just
really,
in a bad mood.
I think that's what it is, and I'm taking it out on Destiny. But Bungie done a great job. Love it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, I mean, is there anything else we should say about Destiny? Were there any surprises or anything that people came across that they weren't expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought it might be the case, but I was surprised at how many people had chosen Hunter. So I definitely won't be choosing that class when I come to play it in September. Yeah, everybody, well, most people. But yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I think as a hunter, I did enjoy the knife. Once you upgraded to the throwing knife, that was something else. Like just knifing people in the head was from a distance, especially the fallen, because then there's some kind of like weird light that comes out of their like neck hole where their head used to be. It's all rather disgusting, but also amazing family fun.
Yeah. I did. I enjoyed the knife thing. It was good when you were playing multiplayer as well, and running around knifing them and then throwing your knife. Just felt really ninja-y. But again, that's not it's nothing new. Done it a million times in other games.
The special powers and all the kind of leveling up and the gear and all that kind of stuff. I mean that's why that's the kind of route they're going into in this kind of MMO-like kind of idea, is that you're going to keep on playing to try and get like a new a new mask or a new suit of armor or a new weapon or something, and it did keep me playing like maybe a bit longer than I would have done, like thinking that I probably shouldn't have put as much time as I did into it, knowing that it's all going to get erased or just have to do it all again in September.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it will be good, like when the full game comes out and stuff. It's just the time limit thing always gives me that sinking feeling that everything I do is just going to go. So I don't want to do too much and kind of get too into it and not be surprised by the full product when it comes out. So
Yeah.
I didn't go too deep into it. I played it for a little bit and got my just kind of like saw how it felt sort of thing, and that's kind of how deep I wanted to go into it. I don't want to spoil it for myself when it comes out fully in September.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, generally it's what I kind of expected in the sense of, it's very polished. The sound is amazing. Everything feels crisp.
Oh yeah.
The
menu screens are really good as well.
They've spent a ridiculous amount of money on like UI experts to have all that done, and it's just very polished. And I mean, it's not a surprise when you play it that it is that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm still on the fence a little bit about it, to be honest. But we'll see when it comes out.
Did you do any of the patrol missions? Sorry, one last thing on that. Did you do any of the patrol missions?
Which one were the patrol missions? I mean, I just did stuff. I didn't really look at it properly.
Well, you get dumped down, like in say old Russia or whatever, and you get to just mill around, and you can go and explore and pick up like kind of tiny little missions on the way. But it's also the same time as you can do like different bounties and everything that you can pick up in the tower. Like, there was one that was kind of knife 30 aliens in the face. It didn't say the face. That's me being an idiot.
I remember. Yeah, I mean,
they kill like 30 aliens or something. So you just go down there with a psychopathic tendency to try and sneak up on them and melee them.
Yeah, I did most of those on a few of the bounties. Also applied to like the multiplayer aspect as well. So I was doing that a lot. But I did all the kind of missions that were available. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't play MMOs or anything like that, so it's not really my thing anyway. So
it's not really a proper MMO, I don't think. I mean, it's not designed to be, is it? So yeah, you might find you like it.
I'm just gonna. I'll wait. I won't get it pre-order. I'll probably wait for a bit and see what people think and read some negative reviews about it, not just the positive ones. And then I'll wait for a bit and then I'll probably get it. So I'll be interested to see what you guys think about it, because I imagine that you guys will probably get it as soon as it comes out. Would I be right?
You will be right.
That's correct.
Facts only.
So what else has been going on, Bubba? You're talking about EA. What's your EA?
Raging.
Yeah.
Well,
and what's the EA news?
You know how I pride myself on being a stellar FIFA player.
Yes.
Clocked a lot of hours in that game. Ultimate Team, bought a lot of packs,
Right.
Done all that good stuff. Got a really good solid team together. Just tried to check out if I could buy a new player on my phone. Oh, your account's been locked. Okay. Went on the Xbox, checked it out. Yeah, I can't log into Origin. Sent EA an email, nothing back. They fucking blocked my account. All that.
Hold on, you just sent an email like 5 minutes ago.
I sent them one. This is probably the 6th email I've sent them.
Okay, right.
The last emails were very short, like, who the fuck do you think you are? Send. What the fuck is going on? Send. This is fucking annoying. You need to fix this now. Send. And then there was one of me being like, I'm sorry for the last few emails. I'm just really pissed off. Fix this. Send. And then today I went on and I was like, I really like to play some FIFA and I can't do anything. So those, like, it stops you from doing anything. Like, you cannot do anything in FIFA if you don't have an Origin account. So I went online, spoke to this dude called Ankit, very nice guy, about swapping my account over to a new email address. And he said, yeah, we can do that for you, but you'll lose everything. And I was like, what do you mean everything? He's like, yeah, all the progress you've made, you'll lose. So I was like, 7 minutes worth of crap. It's just going to be
imagining that
in the
South Park
toilet.
character. Imagine that South Park character.
And I was,
I mean, that brings up a better, a sort of interesting point, though, doesn't it? But the EA of like constantly pushing Origins. Whenever I've played like NFL or whatever what other games they try and, well, I play the EA or Battlefield or something. See, before you log in, they're trying to sort of get you, or before you start the game, they're trying to get you to log into Origin and sign up to this, sign up to that. No, I don't want to. I just want to play the game. Then Ubisoft are at it too as well. They've been at it for years with this Uplay bollocks. Like, to play Assassin's Creed, you can earn Uplay achievements. No, I can already earn achievements if that's what I want to do. Like, I don't want 2 sets of achievements and have to remember 2 logins. Like, who gives?
But Ben,
really?
I would say Ubisoft aren't half as bad. They let you play the game, as in the game still works without a Ubisoft account. Like, you don't have to have a Uplay.
You can't even play it without it now.
You can do the most basic shit. It's like you could basically do demo stuff. All the full stuff you cannot do without an Origin account, and it's just not. I think it's unethical myself. I know it sounds like really strong words, but I just don't think you can tie people into things like that for such a long time and then have such dire repercussions when you make a mistake yourself. So they will cut you off completely from your account. You cannot access anything, and if you want to swap over to a new email address, you'll lose everything. So where's the loyalty to the customer? Like, there is no loyalty to those who are kind of keeping your lights on. It doesn't make any sense to me that they'll do that. Anyway, I've sent them a whole host of emails, see if they'll unblock my account. I doubt they will. They'll do that.
Doesn't make sense they haven't told you. I mean, that really takes the piss.
They don't tell you why. They just said you've breached something. Like, breached what? They blocked my account on Thursday. So last Thursday.
It's for you. I think your own good. You've played too much FIFA.
I think that's why. I'll be honest with you. But they did block my account last Thursday, and they said I'd breached something. I was in France. I haven't played my Xbox since the week before. So I was like, when was I breaching anything? Like, but yeah, that is my origin story.
Oh man.
And EA can suck a bag of baby dicks.
Well, tell us what's been happening, because I know you said earlier there's this subscription thing that's going on with EA. What exactly is that?
They've got this new thing called EA Access, which I think is pretty good, grudgingly. I think it's a good subscription thing. It's like £5, I think $5 a month you pay, and they're trialing it with 4 games at the moment, which are Madden, FIFA, Peggle 2, and Battlefield 4. So you get to play them as much as you want, however much you want. You just pay £5 a month, $5 a month, and with that you get 10% off downloadable content as well.
Okay.
And you also get to trial new games days before they come out also. And I think it's a really good idea. If they put like the new FIFA on it, the new Madden on it, and they update it and keep it like with like new games and new content, I think everybody's going to sign up to that. It's kind of stupid if you don't.
I mean, what do you think about this, Ben? Because I'm a little bit. I kind of feel like when people bring in more and more subscriptions, that I lose track of it, or it sounds good up front, but then you might be tied into like a year, and there might not be.
I'm a little bit suspicious. I don't know why. so
it does sound too good to be true. It does.
Well, not really in that sense, because I don't have a interest in playing any of those games, really.
Not even Peggle 2.
I've played Peggle. I have no interest in playing Peggle 2. I mean, and the longest I'd ever played kind of NFL game would be, just a few matches. I wouldn't, I'd rent it. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't sit there. I'm not big into sports games. I think it's just that, it's not for me really. But I mean, if they're going to expand it to their other games, then maybe a bit more of interest. But I think if you're tying yourself down to one publisher or distributor, then I don't know if you're going to get the best value for money, and that's where it kind of links into Sony, because this EA Access thing is obviously only going to come out on Xbox.
Yeah, Sony said exactly what you said.
Because Sony are hoping that if they block that, then EA will have no choice but to distribute their games as part of PlayStation Now, which is their version of it, but across the whole platform. Now, PlayStation Now is a lot better idea because you've got, in theory, if it takes off the way that they're advertising it might do, you've got a whole platform of games, and you can pay. They haven't really sorted out the the pricing, even though the open beta launches tomorrow. So. They haven't sorted it out and given you a definitive idea because they're still working it out. But it's games are rented for a day, a week, a month, and then also, maybe there's an idea that they reduce the price of the game, to buy after you've rented it for so long, like rent to buy, so that kind of thing. Or maybe there's a subscription service where you pay monthly and you just play whatever the hell you want. I don't think they've sorted it out yet, and the games that are on there are pretty limited on the beta, plus it's only released in the States as well, so we won't be playing it for a long time yet.
What games are on the beta, just off the top of your head, do you know?
No, I've seen the list, it's gone, I can't remember.
Okay. I'm just interested because I think that I think it would just open up a new way of basically ingesting games for the public. But it's an interesting idea. And I can see why, Sony be hesitant to kind of do the EA thing. It just seems like they've been kind of edging towards that for a while, like what you were saying about earlier about Ubisoft's Uplay and all that stuff. That's where I thought it was going to be kind of headed. And didn't they do a thing? I can't remember who it was, where there was talk that you were going to have to pay a subscription to go online for like their games as well. So it's ridiculous. So you pay to go online for Xbox anyway, and then you have to pay to go online again for specific games.
It's nonsense, isn't it? And so I've got the PS Now list up at the moment, and remember this is only beta, but at the moment, there's some other games I've never heard of, but Lumines, Retrograde, Saints Row the Third, Sniper Elite V2, so that's not the new one, Pixel Junk Shooter 2, Ben 10.
Not great.
Grid. So not really anything that's not anything I'd be
Those
playing.
Sound like petrol station bargain bucket games.
Yeah, exactly.
The petrol station games. I'm like the whole PS Now thing, just whatever it's called, it hasn't interested me at all.
It's the potential of it rather than what it actually offers at the moment. But we're not in a position to play at the moment, are we?
But you've got to think they're going to charge so much money for it. Like Sony are, they're going to charge a lot of money for this service. I think my argument for EA is the fact that I buy FIFA every year, and it costs me £45 or £40 every year. It's going to be £3 or £4 in England to play this, to have this to have this EA access thing. So that's like £48 a year. Then I can play Madden as well if I want to. I can then play Battlefield. I can then play. It makes sense for me to sign up to this. But the PlayStation one is like they're not going to put their AAA titles on there, their new AAA titles on there. And if they do, they're going to cost you so much to rent. And I reckon it's going to be game by game. It's not just going to be a flat fee for this many months. Play as long as you want.
They haven't decided that yet. So I mean,
but do you think
until they announce it, they're nowhere near releasing this yet, are they? I mean, it's open beta at the moment in the States. I don't know if they've said when it's going to come to Europe, and that's still a way away from it actually being the finished product with the finished pricing list and all that. And it's never going to take off with that games list, is it? So this is maybe that these games are old and they haven't cost Sony very much money to put in the package, and that's why they're releasing it, just to test out the technology of it, how it works, whether there's interest.
The other thing that makes me feel kind of skeptical about it is like they've got to make money off of this, and they've got to think it's a better way of them making money than people going out to, I don't know, a shop or going on Amazon and buying their games for £40 a piece, which I'm sure they're making a lot of money off, but they must be thinking, okay, this is another revenue stream for us, but
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe they're interested in making money from it, but you can imagine that the games publishers are interested, or games developers as well, are interested in this as well, because if people have a subscription, or they're effectively, their games are put into like a Netflix like streaming service.
Yeah.
They're making money from rentals as well as completely cutting off a second-hand market.
Very true. Very true.
There's no kind of sell-on for those games. Microsoft's idea about the whole DRM thing was to be able to share the games you own electronically with 10 family and friends, which was an amazing idea. But because people went for an absolute shit fit about not being able to have a physical disc like it matters in any way,
are you?
That was canned, wasn't it? So
are you an advocate
that will
for
come back
digital
eventually.
content?
You are?
Are you an advocate for digital content then?
Yeah, love it.
Oh,
Why do I have to go out to a shop? Like, I don't want to leave the house. But not that I'm afraid of the outside, not some kind of like agoraphobic. But I mean, you go into these stores, like more often than not in the UK anyway. The sort of game stores that you go to, there'll be 90%, used games, and then only sort of 10% like the top 10 basically. So if you're looking for a game that's not brand new out, or not old enough to be in the used games market, or you don't want to buy used games, then you're not going to find anything. As stores, they're borderline useless, and they're only really interested in you get 50 questions about pre-ordering games. No, I don't want to pre-order games. I'll wait till the reviews are out to see if it's any good. Pre-ordering games is for morons.
But your hard drive, how big's your hard drive? So I heard The Last of Us Remastered is 50 gig install. It's like, so you're gonna own 10 games max, and then delete games, reinstall games, delete games, reinstall. It's pointless.
But,
like,
yeah, true. How likely are you to be going back to it though? I mean, I don't get why it's been released at all, really. I mean, people seem to be a little bit short in the mind if they're thinking this is like the best game that's out on PS4. Surely it's not, because it was only out a year ago.
Yeah, but I was saying, how many games are you going to be able to put? If games are going to be around 50 gig, that's just an example.
Yeah, I mean, can you reinstall though? But then once you've played it and you uninstall it to clear space, two questions: what can you reinstall it from? PlayStation Network, PlayStation Store, whatever. Can you do that? I don't know.
You can.
Okay, so that's cool. But the second thing is, like, unless it's like a multiplayer game or something like that, I mean, how realistic is it you're going to pick up a single-player game that, especially with The Last of Us, is quite heavy? Are you going to just drop back into it just for old time's sake, briefly?
But I've had mates come round and just been like, this is the best game I played in the last 10 years, I want to show it to you. So in order for me to show it to a mate, I'm going to have to sit and install it, having uninstalled it for like... this is my whole thing with digital. I like with films, fantastic. Why own a DVD? It's you have hard drives that are 2 terabytes on your PC. You can put as many films on there as possible. Games are 50 gigs, and they're only going to get bigger. And then these consoles come with 500 gigs. It's like you're limited to a certain amount of space. And the other thing, what if the network goes down or something? Like, what if Xbox Live goes down? What if PSN goes down? What if PSN gets hacked? What if Xbox Live gets hacked? And then it says exactly. And it says, Ben, you actually don't own these games that you've spent all your money on. I need proof and all this stuff, and you have to go through bank statements. It's like, why can't I just have the disc and just stick it in there? It's like
that only applies if you're trying to reinstall something that you've uninstalled. Like 90% of the time, when you buy a game, you're going to download it, you're going to play it, and then you're done with it. You won't go back to it unless it's like an amazing game.
But for me, it's not about going back to it. I'm halfway through like a lot of games, or however long through, or I put something down and think to that. Now, if I'm having digital only, that limits how many games I can actually do that with. So I think, new things coming out, but I've still got. I know we keep talking about Last of Us, but like, so I've still got Last of Us on there, and it's like I haven't completed it, for instance, and it's like, well, I want to play this, but in order to play that, I have to delete this. But I know I'm definitely going to come back to that because I haven't completed it.
But not every game is going to be 50 gig.
No, I know.
Most
I think
probably will.
I think
No,
I don't know.
they're not.
You don't think
it'll
so?
go. I think. Well, I think when games go fully digital, hard drives will just get massive. I mean, I know you can update.
You know, before this generation's out, they're going to release like the slim versions of these consoles will be released with terabyte plus hard drives. There'll probably be hard drive replacement kits that'll come out at some point. You know, I just don't see it as an issue. It's really, it's just really not.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit early to be like digital only. I still do like I mean, I'm one of those people who will buy. Well, what I do is usually I find the game as cheap as I can whenever, and I usually don't get it first when it comes out unless I'm really particularly excited for it, and then I'll trade it. I'll trade it in.
Yeah, smart.
Or I'll trade it in for a voucher.
That's what you should do.
Really, yeah, I mean, really, I don't really pay. It sounds a bit ridiculous, but like I've got about 70 or 80 quid's worth of vouchers just in my thing where I've played the game, traded it in for like a voucher, and then I will go get a new game when it comes out. Because a lot of people I know wait. This is going really detailed, but I know a lot of people wait until there's another game coming out, and then they'll trade in their old games for that. But I trade them in early, so that I can get it for later on. And the thing is, I don't really pay anything for the games, if that makes sense. Like I might lose a quid or two. But
for those games you're not keeping, I would consider rental, and I think it's I'm always talking about it, but I think it's a really good idea. There are a couple of companies out there in the UK that still rent games. You know, it comes to your door. You can prioritize which games they send you. It's just perfect, and yeah, it's probably not the best thing for the game industry, maybe not, but then what. Anything that's amazing that I definitely want to play and keep that I will buy full price. But a lot of these games that are kind of padded out, like say Battlefield or Assassin's Creed or whatever, like there's no need to buy that because I'm never going to play it again. You can just tell some games. You can just tell, can't you? Like,
I want Wolfenstein.
I'll just play it, right? Okay, so I've got Lost Planet 3 at the moment. I'm sure we'll touch on that later, but yeah, I'm not gonna buy that. The first two were borderline gibberish, and I definitely want to play it because it was interesting enough to play, but I don't want to buy it. Like it's a bit much. But if there was an electronic version of rental or subscription service, I'd definitely consider it. But it's early days yet. It's going to take them years to perfect, isn't it? Because I mean, look how long it took Netflix to develop over in the States, and then eventually come over to the UK and get its user base going, and now everybody's on Netflix.
Yeah.
There are other streaming services available.
I want Wolfenstein, and I know for a fact that it's not a game I'd want to keep after.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Yeah, so it's like I'm trying to find it as cheap as possible now, so I can just toss it away after and just get rid of it, so I don't feel like I've been. Like I've spent a load of money on something that I know is kind of a throwaway game. Like there's games that I just feel are throwaway games. Watch Dogs, to me, throwaway game. Because the online component is garbage. Wolfenstein, I just want to... It's absolute garbage. Wolfenstein, I want to play through it and just toss that away as well. It's like there's a load of games that are throwaway. But Last of Us, going on to that, which... I know you guys said that you don't see a reason for why they're re-releasing it.
No, I like it.
I see a reason. It's called money.
Okay, no, but you don't see a point. You don't see a point for.
I don't see a point. No,
it's too soon.
Okay,
what point is, really.
But Sam, do you think it's too soon?
Yeah. Well, to be brutally honest,
don't.
I mean, they said. Well, the thing is, they said as soon as they finished making it for PS3. They went ahead and did it. They started already working to bring it on PS4. And there's part of me that thinks, because a lot of people asked when that and GTA 5 and stuff, it was like a lot of people were like, well, is this going to come out on next gen or what? And they didn't answer that because they knew, they wanted to make sure that you bought that one, so that maybe you'd buy the other one. And it does annoy me from, as Ben was saying, from a money point of view, that it feels a little bit greedy, but at the same time, not what else are they supposed to do? Because they've got the capacity to do it. So what, they do it and then they just sit on it and wait for like 5 years or something? It's like, you know, you might as well bring it out now if that's what they want to do. But
Strike
I would
while
have
the iron's
rather.
hot situation.
Why wasn't it
Yeah.
just delayed 6 months from the original release and just released only on PS4 as an exclusive PS4 title to shift units and make people move to the next generation?
Because
Rather
nobody
than
has a PS4.
Well, the thing
And
is,
that's not good.
well, exactly.
That's not good for Naughty Dog.
it's more. It's, you
Or-
can't blame them for wanting to sell as many as they possibly can. But I don't understand the hype that you see around the place on video game sites, on people talking to people around. Oh, there's this game that I could have played for the last like 18 months or however long it's been out. Now I'm going to play it again. It was slightly higher res. Like it's a beautiful looking game on PS3. It's not going to look like unbelievably better on PS4. I mean, it does look better, but it doesn't look so much better that it's a different experience, or changes the gameplay, or it does anything like.
I watched the IGN review of it, and there's a guy called Colin Moriarty who does like pretty much all their PlayStation reviews, and he gave it 10 out of 10,
Yeah,
which I think is a bit of a cop out, because it's hard to how do you re-review? Anyway, how do you re-review a game like that? But he said,
yeah, I mean, it's so soon after when it was released and given a 10, presumably originally, that maybe nothing has changed. But the thing I'd point out that has changed is that it's now on a console that is capable of so much more. But yes, the same game that was released a year ago. Well,
it's
really?
60 frames in 1080p, and I know it's a cop out.
That doesn't change the gameplay, really. I mean, I know I saw the review. He was talking about like how it changes the gunplay, and you can see things slightly clearer. Well, yeah, okay. Does it? Are most people going to be able to notice the difference to that level? Probably not.
But don't you just see it as like a game of the year edition sort of thing, but on a new console? Games do that all the time. Like Fallout
the
did
Game
that.
of the Years usually has loads of like DLC. I mean, I think it does have.
This
all the
does
DLC,
have the DLC.
actually. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know,
It's I don't know. I just felt like there might have been two other ways of doing it. One of which would be to maybe wait and then just release it as a multi-platform title, or release it and say that it's going to be
30 quid.
Yeah, well, just
it's the same price.
Or just saying, or just saying this will be released next gen, and you can pre-order it when the console comes out, or something like that. I don't know.
Or they hold this version back for the launch of PlayStation Now Live. So then they say PlayStation Now is going live in 6 months' time, and the first title that's going to be available on there for however much, $5.99 a month or whatever, is the remastered version of your favorite game from last generation. People would go just as crazy for that as they have done for it being re-released on disc.
They should have been
it would actually have some kind of meaning, whereas now it's just quite clearly for the money. And yeah, again, can't be stupid enough to think that's not the case for most things, but it's just all of it. Whatever.
There should have been a trading thing.
Yeah, trading thing. I mean, when I look around, I mean, because Tomb Raider did exactly the same thing, and no one really kicked up a fuss about it. But I don't think anyone bought it really either.
I did.
The definitive.
I bought I bought it for the PS4 because I'd never played the first version.
Well, okay, yeah, but that's what I mean. I played the first version and I really liked it. But would I go back to play it again just because it's PS4 better graphics? Like, no, not really.
Fair enough.
And I'm not going to do it for Last of Us, to be honest. I'll probably wait. As I said, as I was saying on the last one, it's like I'm already like over halfway through doing it again on the PS3 before they announced it's coming on PS4 anyway. So I'm not going to do it. And I'm doing it on the hardest settings. So I'm not going to do it again and then do it again within that short space of time.
And it's going to be dirt cheap very soon.
That's the other thing to it is, there's so much out there that's great. It's so many great games out there that what are you doing? What is it that you're playing that you've got enough time to play through? And it's not a short game at all. I don't agree with that. Like, it's quite a long game. You've got time to play through that again. Really?
The reason why I did it is I was talking to someone.
One ending.
I was talking to someone at work, and they said when you did it on the hardest difficulty, so you don't get the hearing ability. I know, Bubba, you've done it without.
Yeah.
But you don't get the hearing ability. Like, ammo's really limited, and it kind of ups the ante in terms of like the tension and all that stuff, which I kind of enjoyed anyway. And he was like going, you know, if you like the suspense and you like the tension and that brought, try it on the hardest difficulty, mate, because it bring you to a whole other level. So I feel like even though I'm doing it again, I am getting a different experience out of it, if that makes sense. And that's why I'm enjoying it. I mean, if I was doing it again at exactly the same difficulty level, then yeah, it's a bit pointless rather than to go through the story again, which is great as it was. Am I that bothered?
But you know, the thing about that game is I played it primarily for the story. Like, I didn't think the mechanics were all that revolutionary. I played the game purely to see what happened with Joel and Ellie at the end of the game. I didn't really care about... I did care about the mechanics, but that was secondary to me, to the story. So a game like that,
that's why I played it.
The difficulty level for me is it doesn't matter. It's so, but I do understand what you're saying.
It's part of the enjoyment.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm saying. So even though I'm enjoying the story, and I did enjoy the story first time around and thought it was great, and you know that is what kept driving me to do. I wasn't going it thinking, oh, this is really. I'm really enjoying playing the bits in between. I really hate the story. It wasn't like that. But no, it was just all it is just you know, playing the gaming bits, like entering a room with loads of clickers and stuff.
Yeah.
Having that higher difficulty does just make it more tense, and so when you get through it, it just makes that more. It's just a bigger challenge, like you know, challenging yourself to do anything. But that's the reason why I do it again. But just to do it again on the same difficulty, just with better graphics, I'm not that bothered. I can wait to do that. I can wait another 10 years if I need to bother with that. Do that again. You know?
Yeah.
The thing is, and it's like I will do an article on this at some point. But like in my head. And I think I've talked about this before. In my head, when you look back at games that you've played, I don't see it graphically how it actually is. So if I think about, you know, two characters talking to each other, or whatever, and that scene to do in when this person died or something like that, in my head it looks better than what it actually does look like. If that makes sense. So I don't need to do it again.
The gameplay of Final Fantasy VII is not what you think it was at all.
Exactly. Your brain just like makes it look better, and you're remembering the experience more than what it actually looked like. And so I don't need to go back and do a game again with better graphics, because to be honest, I'm not remembering the exact graphical outage of Last of Us. I'm remembering how it looks generally and how I perceived it. I don't know if that makes sense at all. Maybe I'm going a bit metaphysical. Yeah.
No, it's true.
So what's next?
Yeah, enough about that. So yeah, well, PS Now, we've kind of covered that. I mean, when are they going to do any? Have they talked about doing anything here soon in the UK with that, or what?
I have. They did announce something, I'm sure. Let me have a look. Talk amongst yourself.
Well, the other thing, apart from Last of Us, was Freedom Wars. I know you wanted to talk about that as well, Ben.
I don't know what Freedom Wars is.
Well, I was hoping...
Great, it's a PS Vita exclusive Japanese RPG kind of thing. You were saying earlier, Sam, you think it looks a little bit like Monster Hunter. I don't think it's... Yeah. I mean, in gameplay it might be in sort of during the battles and things, but I don't think it's that kind of level of collecting and crafting and that kind of activity.
Has anyone played Monster Hunter? Because I played it for a bit years ago on PSP, and
yeah, I played it on PSP. Yeah,
because it's massive.
It was quite hard, wasn't it? I just remember kind of getting beaten by these like warthogs the whole time, and I was thinking, this is this is tiresome.
Yeah, I can't stand things like that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my first adventure into Elder Scrolls, when it was like, I think it was the one before Skyrim. What was that?
Oblivion,
that's it. And like getting out the dungeon or whatever, and then it's like going to this town, and then it's like, okay, here's your first mission. Is that right? And then I'm like, where am I? I'm lost. Oh, there's like, a pig. Oh, it's killed me. I'm dead. And I was like, right. And I put that down, and I never played that game again. And that was the end of my experience with Elder Scrolls. And I haven't done it. I haven't gone back to Skyrim either.
PS Now will release in 2015 for the UK and slightly later for the EU.
means nothing, right?
Yeah, so
Absolutely
it could be
fuck
December.
all.
Right.
It will
Okay.
be released in never
It
November.
will be released not yet.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
In the not too distant future,
So
as every great 80s action film starts with.
Yeah.
Um, okay, well, let's move on to reviews. So I finished Wolf Among Us. I know I've talked about this before. No, none of you guys have played it, have you?
No. So,
Well,
is
I've
it
watch
coming
your
out on
mouth.
Vita, do you know?
huh?
Is it coming out on Vita, do you know?
I
Because
think it's already out. on
Walking
Vita,
Dead's out,
pretty sure.
isn't it?
Yeah, I think Wolf Among Us is out on Vita. Maybe not.
I don't think it is.
Well, I'm going to publish the. I've written the review already. I'm going to publish it later, so it should come out. Should already be on the site by the time this goes out. And it started off. I mean, if you don't know, it's all about fairy tale characters living in New York, but it's a really dark, gritty, like film noir kind of story about like the big bad wolf, or Big B as he's known, like basically solving a murder. Someone's going around killing fairy tale characters. And it's good. It started off really well. So the last chapter, chapter 5, was released the other day, and I finished that. And it was really disappointing. Apart from a pretty cool action scene, it was just, I was just finished it like, oh, it didn't really tie up any of the loose ends at all. There was a lot of questions I still had with some of the characters, and I was like, oh, it didn't even, address that at all. The final scene was a bit weird. I was like, I don't really understand how my decisions have affected this outcome, if you know what I mean. Because there's a kind of thing between you and Snow White, and I'd been like backing her up and trying to be a mate throughout the whole thing, and she just basically blanked me at the end. And I was like, no, what's that about? And it just fell a bit flat in the very last couple of chapters as you try and find out who the killer is. I mean, it's got the whole Telltale thing of being very, it's got the quick time events and, making split decision choices, and those are really good. But you just trying to solve the murder, you feel very much part of the investigation. But compared to like The Walking Dead and all this stuff, I was just like, it felt like it had loads of potential, and it just didn't really come through at the end. It was a real shame.
Do you reckon that because you played it fragmented, that had an effect on your opinion of the game?
Yeah, maybe, because obviously you're waiting for the next chapter. So I had really, not high hopes, but I was really excited for the last chapter. And the thing is, at the end of the chapter before, you kind of already know who's behind it, if you know what I mean. So it's not like in the last chapter there's some revelation and you're like, oh my god. It's like you already know everything by the time you get to the last chapter, and I don't know, it just felt really like, okay, that's it, is it? Right. And they talk about like the farm where the fairy tale people who can't live in New York go to, and I thought we'd go there, but we didn't. You've got this hostility towards this other like massive character. You think, oh, he's going to come in and do something later. He doesn't. Like Sleeping Beauty and or Beauty and the Beast, whatever, have this weird relationship thing, and you think there might be a bit more about that. That's not. But yeah, it just felt really. It was okay.
Yeah, it looks like it is coming out on the Vita at some point.
What did you give it?
No date yet.
7.
Fair enough.
Which
Okay.
it was, it's not to take away from the fact that it's a good game, but it's, compared to like the first, I don't know, it's just difficult because the first series of Walking Dead was so good, and I'm just about to play the latest chapter of the season 2 Walking Dead, episode 4, I think it is now, and that has still been, it's been okay. It's not been as good as the first season. I feel like they've got the Borderlands series of games coming out, the Game of Thrones series of games, and I don't know, maybe it's just been
spreading themselves quite thin.
Yeah. It just feels focused.
They're picking up a lot of franchises now. I think there's a couple more on their way as well. I don't think that's it for them. They're picking up a few more.
But I think I'm going to get bored pretty quickly with the style of gameplay that's become their, whole thing. It's even doing it with Wolf Among Us. I'm like, right, I kind of know making the decisions. You know when there's an action scene coming, when to get ready for that, and it's nothing. It's not as new or fresh as it felt with the first Walking Dead. And yeah, the story was just a shame. It's like, I don't know. That's what really got. It's like great source material, great characters, and it just felt like a wet blanket at the end.
But you know what's going to happen is they'll release the Game of Thrones one that will sell through the roof because
that'd be great.
Because casual gamers or people just going on the tube with their iPads will see, okay, Game of Thrones game. Yeah. I watch Game of Thrones. I'm going to buy it. They'll get invested into the first chapter, by the second one, by the third, by the fourth, and then they'll pick up other like franchises, and people would still, stick to that and just think, okay, this is something I can do to while away time. If they pick up something for kids, parents will buy it for their kids to play on their iPads. I reckon Telltale have like a really good formula here that I think will stick around for a while. I think people like us, as well. Yeah, it's very accessible. People like us who play a lot of different sorts of games, and we've been playing games for a long time. We've got more of a, like specialist, more in-depth knowledge of like what's going on.
Yeah.
But people who actually just want to have a quick fix, they're gonna love that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just personally, I just think, I can't, can I be bothered? I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to see how this season 2 of Walking Dead works out.
I haven't started it. Game.
Yeah, I mean, it was very promising, but again, I've heard that this chapter is a bit slow, and it's like, oh, can it get any slower? Like, I still feel like when I think back to the first series, it felt very, like, the pace was, like, really quick, and it really ended on cliffhangers as well. There was always, like, a lot happening.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's still a bit like, slugging through it a little bit.
I thought the first series was really good.
It was really good.
Really good, yeah.
I think they'd be hard pushed to kind of match that again for the future, which is a shame. Did anyone do the Back to the Future ones? I didn't, but they were supposed to be alright. That's their first lot. No.
No.
Neither.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was it. So I've given that a 7 out of 10. So, yeah, which people will be able to read on the website by the time they listen to this. The other thing I completed was Tearaway, which the review's up on the site as well. I know, Ben, you've been playing it as well.
Yeah, I recently finished it as well. Really liked it. It was quite inventive. It made use of the Vita's different controls. Yeah, it was really good. And I was expecting, when I heard that originally, I was thinking, oh, that's going to be annoying. And apart from one little issue where I don't know if my hands are big enough to really like smash through the back of the Vita, like we have to finger through the back of it. Sounds wrong.
Rapey there. It's alright.
Yeah. His fingers are so small; they didn't feel it. Don't worry.
But yeah, that's. It was just really good. It was really interesting, really unique. The art style was great. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I mean, I think I said this before on the last one, but like what started off for me like drawing cocks or like being stupid, by the end, I'm doing like really intricate like kids stars and like all this stupid stuff. And when you're looking through like the scrapbook thing at the end, it was really weird because I've been playing it on the train and stuff like this. So it's all these like photos of me in all these like stupid weird positions and not positions, places.
On the train.
Yeah, and all these faces, and it was quite, I don't know, just how it kind of built up that sense of nostalgia over such a short time period.
Your game, wasn't it? Your unique playthrough. Definitely one thing that I actually made me laugh out loud was when you come across that pumpkin scarecrow thing, and you give him his head back, and then you meet another one when you enter like the winter realm or whatever, and you what was it? You ask him. Oh, sorry, he asks you to give him a new shout, so you have to shout into the Vita a new shout, and obviously everyone knows what everyone's going to shout, and to hear the game, to hear this pumpkin running off down the hills, trying to scare these crows away, just shouting obscenities was it was a gaming highlight.
I didn't even think about that because I was playing with my other half at the time.
Let me tell you.
To do the raw. She did a proper raw. But yeah, I traded that game in immediately once I was done. I was like, I don't feel like I'm going to come back and play this again.
Yeah.
In the nicest possible way. I really enjoyed it, but absolutely no point in playing it again or doing any of the other bits and pieces. I felt like that was it. Closed that book. That's put away. Really enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, I can't remember what I gave it on the site, but it wasn't like I think it was an 8. I gave it an 8, didn't I? Because I did really like it. It was a great piece of, it's kind of what gaming's all about in the sense of it being fun and interactive and all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it didn't blow me away that much. It was just a good, decent, solid, cool beta game.
For a handheld game, it was. What is that noise? For a handheld game, yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, what else? Has anyone completed anything recently?
I'm on my way towards Lost Planet 3, slowly.
How's that going?
That's the only thing I can report just yet. I'll probably do something video based for that on the site. Yeah, it's a strange game. Yeah.
What was Okay, so anything particularly interesting finding about it? So other than just strange.
Now you're locked out of FIFA. Are you on a games diet?
A bit of a diet. Lost a bit of fat around the middle, but I'm playing Watch Dogs. I really just want it to end. I just want it to. I just really just want to finish it so I can trade it in and get Wolfenstein. So I genuinely,
held this high hope for Wolfenstein. It's average at best.
I know, but I love these average games. At the beginning.
Did anyone see that on N4G, the Wolfenstein review on the site went up, and there's one comment, and one guy completely laid into, well, us, the site, saying, how can this guy give 5 out of 10? We didn't even play the same game. What an idiot.
To you?
Yeah, going, that's why you'll never work for IGN, whatever, and all this stuff. It's like, bloody hell. And then people can like it or dislike it, and it's like thumbs up 0, thumbs down 1. Brilliant. Whoever that one person was, that was like, disagree. It wasn't me, someone else.
The thing is, like, it's all subjective, right?
But that's it. I mean, I just find it when people get so heated about stuff like that. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, but it's an opinion.
Yes. it's like,
the reason people read reviews of, the reason why people have names on the reviews is that you can get used to, one particular individual giving a review or trusting their opinion or their take on a game, and you identify with that and learn to trust them. If you don't agree at all with, if you skip to the score, then you're borderline a moron because you haven't read the arguments as to why that score exists, right? But if that's all you're concerned with and you haven't worked out whether this person doesn't like that particular type of game, maybe then again why you're reviewing it, but as in if that's not their kind of style or why are they not liking it, then it's just people raging on the internet is just so old, but it's just some people love it. And
the other thing is they're trying to justify the fact that they spent £40 on an average game. They're trying to find justification in the fact that they spend £40 on a game. They want everybody to say 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
Rental.
Yeah. They want validation for the fact that they've spent their money on something. And when they see a bad review, it makes them feel a bit shit about spending £40 on something,
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you who's the king of that. There's a guy that me and Ben know called Dan, and everything that he ever got in his life was the best thing ever. It was just like I remember, what was it? The most recent one I can remember is when the Hitman film came out, and he was like, "Oh man, it's amazing! I don't know what you're talking about." And I was like,
"Oh my god,
are you mad?" He'd buy like all these like albums from artists and who I just don't really like, or like the Kings of Leon's like 6th album or something. But oh man, it's their best work yet. Why are you mad? You got mad? But it's that whole idea that it's like, paid money I know I've paid this money, so it must be great.
Yeah.
And it's like you can say something is shit. Like, you've made a mistake buying this. You can say that.
I've made so many mistakes with games. Like, oh my
It's a great
God.
title for a book. I've made
I've made so many. Like, even with trainers. Like, trainers aren't like games. Trainers, you see it, you like it or you don't like it. Again, you buy it, you see the cover, it may be a different experience actually playing the game. You read reviews, it might control differently once you've got it in your console, and like might be something you actually like. But trainers, what you see is what you get. I've made mistakes with trainers. I've bought trainers that I thought in the store, these are wonderful. Taking them and being like, you know what, these look pretty shit actually. So it's like, I don't see why people have to constantly validate their purchases. It's so stupid.
It's middle class problems. That's just
Yeah, mate, major.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, talking about Watch Dogs, I mean, that's what I'm playing at the moment as well. I know
You done with it?
No, not yet. I've just done the bit where...
Wait. You're on chapter 1, 2, 3?
Oh, Act 2. I'm coming to the end of Act 2.
Okay, I'm near the end of Act 2 as well. What?
Oh, okay.
What mission?
I don't mind it. I'm like... So I've... the killing back counselor or something like that, and I'm now... I can't remember. I'm meeting this drug dealer guy. It's all really weak. When he's like, I've got to do this, it's like, oh, okay, no, I have to do 10 other things before I can do this one thing. And it's like, no, there's got to be a simpler way of doing this. But I don't know.
Do you understand the story?
Not really, like in a very vague way.
Yeah, me too.
It's, I'm not really paying that much attention. But I do enjoy doing all the little driving missions, the I don't know, just that whole like finding like the CTOS boxes and whatever and finding a way to get up there. I like stuff like that. I like the as I was saying to you before, actually, before the podcast, like when you're outside like a gang base and you can use all the cameras and you can do like the stealth stuff without even like you're still in the same place physically, but you're able to kind of go into security and kind of hack or kill people via that. Is I really like that aspect of it, that kind of strategy aspect. But I mean, yeah, it's a very average game. It just has little bits, little tiny gold nuggets every now and then that are enough to keep me playing, that I enjoy. But yeah, it's okay.
Speaking of dog-related games, have either of you played Sleeping Dogs?
Nintendogs. Yeah, man, Sleeping Dogs. I love Sleeping Dogs.
No.
Nintendogs. But yeah, Sleeping Dogs for me, like, I love GTA 5, I love the GTA series, Watch Dogs is decent, but nothing to me has come close to Sleeping Dogs. That game is awesome.
It was really good.
The fighting, I could do that for hours. The cars, the way the cars handled was great. The story was awesome. The gunfighting was the gunplay was really good in the game as well. Yeah. Like, graphics weren't amazing, they were decent. I thought the city was perfectly sized as well.
Yeah.
Like, that game was incredible. And I think to myself, like, Ubisoft have just fucked it with Watch Dogs.
That's the thing with Sleeping Dogs. It felt like I was in like a Hong Kong action flick.
Yeah, it did.
And I really enjoyed it, like the whole neon, kind of aesthetic to it. And
so
yeah,
good.
I mean, graphics wasn't great, but I did really enjoy playing it. And to be honest, I kind of enjoyed the story. I mean, it's a pretty simple story.
Really simple.
And I quite, I like that aspect to it.
Which one do you prefer?
What, between Sleeping Dogs and Watch Dogs?
Yeah.
At the moment, it's Sleeping Dogs, I would say, but I have to reserve judgment until I've completed Watch Dogs.
Yeah. Ben, have you played Sleeping Dogs?
No, I haven't.
You need to get on it, mate.
I'll add it to the back of the list.
I think it's free.
Oh, okay.
It's
Or
free.
Games
I
with
don't know if it's
Gold.
still free.
Or it was.
It wasn't Games
I
with
guess.
Gold.
I don't know.
Next month's Game with Gold on Xbox 360 is Dishonored.
Great.
It's,
Oh,
wow.
God.
That's
Well,
gonna
I
be
tell you what, you guys
wonderful.
play that. Tell me how far you get. It's still in my.
Weirdly enough, I've already got it, so I've just already wasted my money. If I'd have known that I'd have just left it on my shelf for over a year, then...
Yeah. I mean, I sometimes dream about the day when I actually finish Dishonored. It's this like nagging thorn in my side.
I completely agree with you because I bought it when I was on holiday, played it for about 4 hours, and was like, "Yeah, I'm going to come back to it." Never went back to it because it just.
Mate, it's just so boring.
It's so boring. It's so boring.
I'm gonna give it a go anyway. Oh, Baba, did you get Battle Block Theatre? Because that's the free game at the moment.
No.
For the rest of tonight, Battle Block Theatre is the free game until tomorrow morning.
Is it good?
I'm downloading it now.
Yeah, it's worth playing. It's just an arcadey fun type thing from the guys who made Castle Crashers.
I love Castle Crashers.
So well worth getting.
I'm going to do that.
Considering it's free, so go and do it. Cheers.
Is that a multiplayer aspect?
Yeah, full player multiplayer as well.
Let's do it.
Sam, you need to get yourself an Xbox One.
I'll tell you what, if anyone's listening that feels like they've got a spare Xbox One in their hands, do let me know.
Mate, it will be so good if you got one.
This is offline chat.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, well, until that. Well, I'm doing, at the moment as well, I'm doing Final Fantasy X,
Cool.
which is really good on the Vita. I knew it was going to look pretty lush anyway, but I'm really enjoying it, and I've forgotten everything about it, so it's like playing it fresh completely, over again. And I got from PS Plus the Jack and Daxter trilogy, and I started in the first one, but oh my god, I think I might have to just delete it and not do any of them. I just cannot be bothered. It's just collecting stuff, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like you make a wrong move, you fall to the bottom, you've got to start it again. Like,
forget it.
And I'm just like, this is mad. Yeah. It's like, why am I wasting my time with this? It's like, I don't even know. It's like, oh, you've still got 3 orbs to collect. Well, where the fuck are they? I don't know where they are. I'm supposed to just walk around until, like, I happen to come across stuff. And I'm already frustrated by it.
So I've just neglected my Vita completely. It's like, I hear people talking about how many good games there are on it. I don't. I haven't turned it on for about 6 months.
Miami Hotline at the moment is like £3. £3 on PS Plus. Hotline Miami, yeah. Just download that, give yourself a couple of hours, and just play that. And I swear.
Is it good?
I love it so much. Stupid amount, really, for what it is, because it's a very simple, very simple game. But
the second one's out this year as well.
Yeah, can't wait.
And it's
I might even pre-order it. Pre-orders. I know there's a general hatred towards pre-orders, and I do kind of understand it. Even though I do think sometimes it's a good thing for developers for the sake of having pre-orders. But
I think in a case where you say it's like Destiny, where you've played it and you know what it's going to be like, right? I could put a pre-order down with a clear conscience because I know that the finished product's going to be something I'm definitely going to want to play. But people that pre-order games a year in advance, when you're in store, you say, "Oh, do you want to pre-order this, and this?" No, like how? Yeah. It's just it.
What if they run out?
Pre-order bonuses. It's trying to take reviews and critical opinion out of the loop, and that's completely wrong. It's just not. People shouldn't be pre-ordering stuff.
Yeah, I do kind of get that, but I mean, there's no. Well, the problem I'm having at the moment, it's not a problem, but is that I'm definitely going to get Alien Isolation, right? And I was looking into it, and you can get the classic. You can get the game, or you can get the Nostradamus edition, which has 1 DLC, or you can get the Ripley edition, which has the 2 DLC, which is all the Alien cast coming back. I don't know if you've heard about this. The DLC being taking place during the first Alien film, and all the cast, apart from like one person, have come back to do the voices and all this stuff. I'm definitely going to get that, and I want to get both of it. And I think it's only exclusive to game. and Game have it for like 55 quid.
But that is such unmitigated bollocks. The fact that they've gone to the effort of getting the original cast in to film it meant that they were always going to do that, but they've lopped that off the full game. That was part of the full game. They've lopped it off to be a pre-order bonus because they're worried about review scores and they want to try and get as much money as they can before it releases, right? And
but I can understand. You don't necessarily, but it's not necessarily to do with the main game. Because essentially it's a separate story. So yeah, it's this whole thing of like, I do kind of get, it's a very tenuous, it's very hard to describe like with DLC.
But it's been developed at the exact same time. It's been developed at the exact same time as the main game. It's not something they've gone away and developed after the main game shipped. They're already talking about it now as a pre-order bonus. Then pre-order bonuses should be restricted to, just like additional cloaks or hats or guns or whatever. Like that's wrong, man. It really is.
Yeah, but I don't care about the hats and the guns and stuff. I'd rather have a proper piece of chunky story to get my teeth into.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way. You should just get that regardless for buying the game rather than having to pre-order it. What happens if people want to play that game and they didn't realise it was coming out at the right time? When they're ever going to get that
but content? Then maybe it doesn't want. But then maybe from a creative perspective, they don't want it directly associated with the main game. They want the main game to stand on its own as it is, but we've also developed this additional content, which is part of the world that it's in, but not necessarily to do with the actual game. And we don't want those two lumped together.
No, it's suspicious at best. It's
I don't know. Well, either way,
it's the stuff of shadows.
Either way, I want this Ripley edition, and they're only going to do it a game, and it's only going to be 55 quid, and I feel like I'm being conned. I feel like there should be one other retailer, at least, who should, do it for like a bit. Otherwise, I'm paying 55 quid. And the thing is, I know what will happen. If I get it from somewhere else, I'll pay like 40, and then it'll be like £20 for 2D, and I'll be like, fuck, I should have just got the 55 quid one. What to do? Middle class problems again. Jesus. What am I supposed to do in this situation? Tell me.
Kill someone.
Anything.
I don't know.
That's your excuse for everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, well, on that note.
Kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna go kill myself whilst playing Jack and Daxter. I
thought you were going to say something else. Like,
wow. That was.
That's a roller coaster of an evening you have planned.
Yeah. Is it weird that I put up pictures of Michael Hutchins and David Carradine up on the... Anyway, cut.
Edit
that. So yeah, anything else that anyone wants to bring up? Any news or anything they're playing or anything they're looking forward to coming up?
Oh yeah, just one other. There's this other game that I was. EA can suck my dick. That's the last thing I'd like to say.
I am looking forward to not playing Lost Planet 3 anymore.
Good.
Nice.
Okay, well, I'm going to say goodbye. That's it from us. Click over to thewildboar.com, BORE.com for more gaming features, or follow us on Twitter at thewildboaruk, or you can email us on thewildboartv@gmail.com. If you have any questions, opinions, or if you just want to tell us how wrong we are, feel free. Hope you enjoyed the show, and see you all next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adios.